Today, we explore more of the British Columbia backcountry, specifically the Shuswap region, in our Subaru Forester. Having already traveled here in our last video, we start just off the main service road that circles the lake, where we start our climb up the allegedly deactivated logging road and into the smoky skies. Although, after only a brief drive up the road, we could tell that there is no way this was actually deactivated. And to our surprise, this wouldn't be the only strange change of plans today. After reaching dead end after dead end, we turned back down and set our sights on a new target. This time, the trail was much more matured as we climbed. And eventually, we reached the meadows, where we crossed and finally reached our goal, a mountaintop spring that fed into the lake below. Join us as we make our way through today's twists and turns.
What is up, and welcome back everyone to another beautiful day in beautiful but smoky British Columbia. So we're still in the Shuswap. It's supposed to be somewhere down there. The smoke has got so bad that it's sunny right now, and it's pretty much like overcast. It's that bad. You can probably see about 100 and some odd meters. Like, let's look down this road a little bit. It's like there's no visibility. So I was planning on going up the mountain and seeing all the way down the lake. You can get up to this top of this mountain and go check that out. But today we're gonna try something a little different. We're gonna try a deactivated logging road in the middle of nowhere. So I have no idea where we're gonna end up, or even if we can get up this road a couple hundred meters before maybe there's a washout or something. So it's gonna be one heck of an adventure exploring British Columbia and seeing where we can end up before we head back down to the hill and head back to Calgary. With that being said, I think it's time to air down the Toyo tires on the Beadlocks. We're not doing anything too crazy, or at least I hope not, because it's a solo adventure. It's just me, so we don't want to get in too much trouble. I do have the winch if I really need it, but we don't want to get into too much trouble because we are in the middle of nowhere right now.
So we hit the trail and headed into the smoke, and to my surprise, the trail looked a lot more maintained than I was expecting. The road was made out of a fine sand that made it great to drive on, but also extremely dusty. And as we continued, we saw more old cut lines and more of a reason to believe that this trail wasn't truly deactivated. As we made our way up the face of the mountain and into the valley, things started to not quite add up.
Well, the map has lied to me. So here's the main logging road that's supposed to be deactivated. I don't know if it's actually deactivated because, well, if you can see where we parked here, we got a pile of logs, and this road is just way too well maintained and still has erosion protection to be deactivated, because usually that means they took out all the drains and everything, but it doesn't look like it. And there's lots of looks like fresh machinery tracks, so I think it's still active, and that sign's maybe from a long time ago. But where it lied to me is there is supposed to be a road right there. This road is supposed to take us up to the top, and it almost looks like there was a cut line there at one point, but there is nothing now. There's this nice little creek right here, which is kind of nice to sit by, I guess, but there is no logging road up that way. I looked on my satellite map, and it looks like there was a cut line there because the trees are kind of open, but I think we're gonna have to keep on going up this main logging road and then see if we can, I know we can get all the way around the mountain, and maybe we can find something that goes up on the backside. So onwards we go. It's kind of crazy that I keep on saying, oh, I want to make it up the mountain. We're already 3/4 way up the mountain. We've gained 500 meters of elevation, and if it wasn't so damn smoky, I'd be able to look out that side of the car and be able to see the whole Shuswap Lake. But unfortunately, as I said, there is a huge amount of wildfires burning. There's actually one now, I think it's over 1,000 hectares at the end of the lake. So we're not really gonna get much of a view today. It's more about the exploring and just going off into the backcountry, which we're definitely doing. Well, the road I originally wanted to take that took me around the creek and then kind of back around the mountain. doesn't even look like it exists. Maybe my trail map thinks it's a ATV road or something in there, but I can't see anything. I flew the drone actually over there and I couldn't see anything, so I thought they were just covering it up, but I don't think they covered up because there's a log pile there. I think it just never existed in the first place. So we still have some time, so I decided, why don't we just keep on going upwards? So we're now on the trail that just keeps on climbing, and now we've gained 600 meters of elevation, and it's getting really rough, so we're just chilling in first gear, just slowly climbing. But I think we might be able to get into the Alpine from here. We'll have to see, because as I said, my trail map seems to be really all over the place today.
Rather than turning around, we pushed forwards and up the next mountain in the range. Although, now the fine dirt trail became a more coarse crush, which we had to slow down for. But we kept on pushing on, for the hopes of reaching the Alpine. And when the mountain finally got too steep to climb directly up, we were met with a system of switchbacks. Switchback after switchback, we kept on going up till the road started to flatten out again. Still not in the Alpine. Once again, we were met with more logging activity, this time making the trail almost as wide as a regional highway. Until we drove back into the trees and into more sketchy trails. Till we hit the end again.
Well, we reached the end of the line. Look behind me. The road just dead ends. It even says on my back road map that we're not even on a road, so I don't know exactly where we are, but it's pretty cool up here. We're definitely really high. There's still a bit of mountain up there, I think. And maybe you can make it up there, but I can't find the road to make it up there, so I think we're gonna head back down. There's one more spot I want to check out before we head back to Calgary, so what we'll do is we'll head back down this road and then we'll go that way. I thought we could make it to the Alpine up here, but I guess not. Maybe we'll have to come out here some other day and do another adventure and maybe explore some more of the trails.
So we pointed downhill and let gravity do the work as we descended. It wasn't long before we passed where we started and hit the main Forest Service Road back.
Now we're back on the main forest road that goes around Rooftop Lake, but we're not done yet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cruise here. It's actually gonna take us to a little bit of asphalt. We're gonna drive asphalt for about 20 minutes, I believe, and then we're gonna hit up a different forest road that we should be able to get to the spot that I want. It's essentially just like a high elevation, little tiny lake that actually runs the water, or is a part of the creek that runs the water through the place that I stay at St. Ives, so it'd be cool to go see where the water comes from. It should be a natural spring, if I believe correctly, and then probably have some lunch, and then call it a day before we head back to Calgary. And there we go, we were back on another dirt road. I think this forestry road should pretty much take us to the top of the mountain, so it should be some pretty easy climbing compared to that really rough logging road we were on before.
And up we went. Being above a small hamlet, the trail was much more matured than the one we were just on. The forest had slowly surrounded it, and the trail was made out of fine gravel that made it a dream to drive on. And as we went higher, we could see remnants of old fires and previous logging leaving the meadows to retake the land. And it wasn't long before we were driving in the meadows ourselves, as the trail narrowed down into a small single lane. And as always, we were met with more drainage ditches that we climbed through, till we made the final push through the meadows into the end of the trail.
success. We made it to the beautiful lake in here. It's like a meadows. I'm pretty sure they had a fire in here years ago because there's lots of burnt trees and stuff that aren't on the trail, just kind of sitting there. But beautiful meadows out here. I seen an eagle flying around over there, and then it's just this beautiful little meadows that drops off into that little pond, creek, wherever. And this is actually, I believe, a natural spring where the water collects, and then it actually goes down to where we were staying for the last week, St. Ives. So it's really cool to see that, where it came from and kind of where the water source is. It is pretty awesome just to be able to stand here on top, essentially what is a mountain, in this beautiful meadows, and just listen to the birds and stuff and go check out the water. It's a little swampy, so I didn't go swimming in it, but it's still pretty darn cool. And we kind of almost broke out of the smoke. It's way less smoky. It's actually hot now. It's 30, so that's good to hear. But this is where I wanted to make it today, and this is where we made it. So goal done, checked off, and on to the next. Speaking of next, I think it's time to now head down because it's like 2 o'clock Alberta time. I've got a 7-hour drive in front of me, so it's time to head back down the road and fill up the tires and then hit the road back to Calgary.
With gravity on our side, we cruised down the mountain, out of the meadows, and into the forest, before stopping where the asphalt begins to air up.
Well, there we go. Just around that bend is asphalt and the end of our off-road journey. So that kind of concludes the shoe shop area for now, because I am, as I said, heading back to Calgary. But as you guys know in the previous video, that this car had those new wheels and tires put on, and wow, all I can say is I'm super impressed. It handled these roads like a dream. Running 10 psi, we could probably run a lot more, or a lot less actually, while we do some more hardcore stuff. But again, today was just exploring. We first did some of the farther stuff farther up north, and then we came down and went and reached one of the lakes up on the top of a mountain here. So that was kind of all I wanted to do today, and that's pretty much all we're going to get to do because I'm going to drive back to Calgary. If you guys don't know, that's pretty much just the main highway all the way through the mountains. If you guys want to check out kind of what that scenery looks like, when I came back from the 5-day BC overlanding trip, I have a whole video of going through the Rocky Mountains there and kind of that. I'm not going to record it again because, well, you guys seen it once, you don't need to see it twice. So if you guys have any questions or comments, or if you guys are as impressed as me about the Forester, feel free to drop a comment down below. But that is going to be it for today's episode, and I don't know when I'll see you next, but I'll see you guys soon. So as always, peace out and stay humble.